All right, so welcome to the deep dive, everyone. We're diving into something pretty huge today, helping you as you step into your role as faculty in educational psychology. I
hmm
mean, exciting time, right?
It really is. And it is exciting, tons of opportunity, but it can also be a little bit like, whoa, what do I do now?
Yeah, exactly. Like you've spent years getting this expertise and now you're ready to just jump in. But, academia has its own kind of culture, right? Its own rhythm.
It really does. It's a whole new world.
So for this deep dive, we're going to break down this awesome guide, Getting Started in Academia, a guide for educational psychologists. And this is like your shortcut, your cheat sheet.
Yeah, all the secrets.
We're going to give you the core insights to help you tackle everything from the kind of unique culture of your new school to performance reviews, building your research, becoming a rock star teacher, mentor, and understanding all that service stuff.
All those things that are really important.
Yeah, so you can really hit the ground running. So where do we even start?
The guide starts off with, I think this is great advice. Really immerse yourself in the culture of your new place.
Okay.
Go beyond just the paperwork. Like really get a feel for the vibe.
Yeah, it's like joining a new team or something. Like you've
Yeah.
got to learn like how this team works. The guide has this really interesting first step. Figure out your institution's Carnegie classification.
Yeah. And this is basically like a categorization of universities,
Yeah.
right? Based on their research activity and the kinds of degrees they offer.
Got it. So is it, like a big research university with all the grants and publications, the R1s? Or is it like a smaller teaching-focused liberal arts college?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And knowing that helps you understand like what's expected of you and where the resources are going to be.
It kind of paints the picture. And then, the guide's like, be a digital detective, get on that website, mission statements, strategic plans, all that jazz. Where are
Man.
they going in the next 5, 10, 20 years?
Right. And it's really interesting to see how that stuff lines up with the data that they recommend you look at next. Like the grant dollars, the student credit hours, the faculty-student ratio. That tells you where they are now.
So you've got like the ideal and then you've got the reality. And how does all of that then help you figure out, okay, what are they expecting from me in my department?
Right, because that big picture stuff gives you the context to understand what they care about in your department, right?
Yeah.
So, like at a research university, you're going to need to get grants and publish in big journals.
Yeah, totally. Now, on a more personal level, the guide talks about understanding professional behavior. What's okay with students? What do your colleagues expect? Like how available you are. And it brings up this whole thing about physical presence versus email.
Yeah, that's a tricky one these days. It's not so much about being in your office all the time anymore. It's about answering those emails. You need boundaries, but you got to be responsive.
You got to be on top of it. And on that note, the guide has some good email tips. Like even if you don't have the answer right away, just a quick, hey, got your email, working on it.
Right. Manage those expectations.
It makes a difference. And be careful with that. Reply all. Oh, and don't forget, every email is forever.
It is. And, while we're on the topic of communication, it's good to notice how people in your department talk to each other. Is it all email, or do they use other ways to connect?
Right. Pick up on those cues. And then there's meetings, of course. Program meetings, department meetings, committee meetings. You got to go. And if you can't, let them know ahead of time.
Yeah, otherwise people think you're not engaged.
Yeah, not a good look. And this is a pro tip. Make friends with the support staff. They know everything.
They really do. They're the heart of the department.
Respond to those little requests, those administrivia things, because they matter to someone.
Yeah. And I think just in general, being observant, like how do people address each other? What are the little unspoken rules? Don't be afraid to ask questions.
Yeah, your chair, newer faculty, they've been there. Okay, let's talk about performance review. This can be a little scary, but the guide says, understand the process now.
Yeah, don't wait. Your school's going to have written policies on reviews, merit pay, tenure, promotion. All that stuff's in handbooks, contracts. But here's the thing. The guide warns us, those documents don't always have all the answers.
Right, it can be really unclear, especially pre-tenure.
It's a big stressor.
So the guide says annual reviews are pretty much everywhere. They're usually tied to raises, and you might have to submit a little form or a whole portfolio of your work.
And, be aware of what they call the Lake Wobegon effect, where, like, everyone is above average.
Oh yeah, everyone's a superstar.
It makes it hard to know where you really stand. Then there's the midpoint evaluation. It's like a mini tenure review.
Oh yeah, without the outside people.
Right. But it's still a big deal.
Yeah.
It could be tied to your contract, or it's feedback on your progress. So be prepared.
Yeah, get your stuff together early, even if it's a mess at first. See if you can get examples of successful files.
Right, or talk to people who've been through it and ask for advice.
Now, for us in educational psychology, the guide mentions that the expectations for scholarship might be a little different. Like empirically based research and publishing in our specific journals is really important.
Yeah, you ought to know what your department values. And be ready for feedback during that midpoint review. It can be tough, but it helps clear up what they expect for tenure. And speaking of help, you need a good mentor.
Yes. The guide says it's not just a nice thing to have, it's essential.
It can really make a difference in getting tenure. And don't worry, if your school doesn't have a formal program, informal mentoring is great too.
Yeah. And the guide breaks down the different types. Traditional, where a senior faculty member guides you.
Right? They can offer support and open doors for you. Then there's co-mentoring, which is more like peers helping each other out.
Yeah, you're all in the same boat, so it makes sense.
And then there's mutual mentoring, where everyone shares their knowledge. Different ranks, even students.
That's cool. And the guide says you can do all of these. You don't have to pick just one. But no matter what, good mentors are empathetic, patient, honest, accessible, good communicators. They motivate you. They're open to different ideas. They're reflective. They can think critically.
And good mentees are ambitious, open-minded, humble, and appreciative.
You got to be able to ask for help. So it's all about building a good relationship, that helps you grow and gives you support.
Hmm.
And that leads us to research, which is a big one pre-tenure. The guide talks about having a research agenda, a plan connected by related ideas. And the first step is finding collaborators.
Don't wait for them to find you. Get out there, talk to your colleagues, go to seminars, read their websites, find out what they're doing.
Good collaborators, the guide says, have similar work styles, mutual respect, and clear communication, especially about authorship.
Who's doing what and who gets credit.
Right, check out Moore and Griffin on that. And keep those connections from grad school, your dissertation committee, your cohort. Conferences are great for networking too. And remember, your research is going to be evaluated.
So make it count. And a big part of that is getting funding. The guide says figure out what your institution wants. Do you need grants to get tenure, or is it enough to show you're trying?
Start with those smaller seed grants, get some experience, and use your school's grant office. They can help. Don't forget about foundations, corporations, state agencies, and look for early career funding.
There's a lot out there. And
Yeah.
as educational psychologists, we have those stat skills that makes us valuable collaborators.
Oh, yeah. Now you've got your research, you got to write it up. The guide says be honest about your writing habits. If what you're doing isn't working, try something new.
It's okay to change things up.
Write every day, even if it's just for a little bit. Schedule that writing time and stick to it.
Like it's a meeting.
Exactly. A works in progress seminar or writing group can give you feedback. And remember, you have to submit your work to get published.
Don't sit on it.
Get those dissertation articles out there early. Know your journals, the good ones, the specialized ones. Talk to your senior colleagues about that. And have some backup journals in mind.
Yeah, just in case. And if you get a revise and resubmit, don't think of it as a rejection. It's a chance to make it better.
The guide says organize those reviewer comments by theme, revise it, resubmit it, and write a good letter to the editor.
Explain what you did. And if it's a straight-up rejection, consider the feedback, make changes, and send it to the next journal.
Don't give up. Your mentor can help you with those reviews. Lowndes and others have done research on what editors look for. Conferences are good for networking, but don't just present. Write those papers.
Yeah, you need publications. And remember, the tenure clock is ticking, but don't get so focused on research that you forget about teaching.
Which is so important. And the guide says, think of those service courses, intro psych, learning and development, research methods, as a chance to shape the field.
Yeah, you're influencing future teachers and researchers. And teaching those intro courses actually makes you better at your field.
It forces you to really know the basics. So when you're planning your courses, that syllabus is key.
It really is. Be clear about everything. Assignments, grading, expectations. It'll save you headaches later.
And stick to the syllabus. The guide suggests using scoring rubrics for assignments. And if you're new to teaching, ask your colleagues, look at other syllabi, use your school's teaching resources.
Practice what you preach. Good teaching is all about planning, evaluating, revising.
It's a cycle. Get feedback from colleagues, do those peer observations, and ask your students for feedback mid-semester. Make adjustments.
Yeah, stay flexible and pay attention to those end-of-semester evaluations. Know what your department uses. The guide says don't just look at the numbers, analyze those comments.
See what the themes are. and talk to your mentor about it. Even if the feedback is tough, use it to improve. Your school probably has teaching workshops and things like that,
Definitely take advantage of those. Building relationships with your students is important too. Be upfront about your teaching style. Set boundaries.
especially online.
Right. And graduate students, they might need more from you. If you make a mistake, just admit it. It actually makes you more credible.
It makes you human. And get to know your students, their backgrounds, what they know. Don't assume.
Yeah, everyone's different. And some grad students, they're just focused on that degree. It's good to recognize that.
So managing your teaching workload is key, especially early on. The guide says pre-tenure faculty often teach less so they can do more research. But don't get so caught up in teaching that you neglect your
There's
research.
a balance.
Be smart about your time, maybe set limits on how much you prep, save those big course redesigns for later,
Ask senior faculty for help with new courses.
and use technology. Email office hours, online notes, plagiarism software. Keep a teaching journal to track your changes. It'll help with your tenure file. And try to enjoy it. Find ways to connect your teaching and research.
Bring students into your projects.
Yeah, get funding for innovative teaching. Now, let's talk about being a graduate advisor. This is a big one for doctoral programs. The guide says we're basically stewards of the profession, training the next generation.
It's a big responsibility. And those advisor-advisee relationships, they're so important.
For everyone, for the field.
The guide says that the department is where grad students really learn the ropes, and the advisor is their main guide.
And the guide talks about Barnes's research on what good advisors do. They help their advisees succeed, they help them develop as researchers, they support their professional growth, they help them find their passion, and they help them navigate the program.
It's a lot. And communication is at the heart of it all. Be clear about expectations, academics, professional stuff, behavior.
Let them know what you expect and ask them what they expect.
It's a two-way street. Involve them in your research, co-author with them, that's how they learn, and be accessible, but set boundaries.
You need time to do your own work.
Right. Tell them when and where you're available, maybe even do group advising sometimes. And ease into it. Don't take on too much at once.
All right, last but not least, service. The guide says this is part of being a good academic citizen and it counts towards tenure.
Your colleagues are watching.
Ask your mentors what's expected at your school. Service can be at your department, university, professional organizations, even your community.
It can be a lot, especially at smaller schools.
The guide says start local, like with recruiting or curriculum stuff, and then branch out later.
Talk to your mentors about what to prioritize.
Find committees that interest you. It's better to be active on a few than to be on a ton and do nothing.
Committees can be a good way to connect with people, too.
And try to connect your service to your teaching and research. Educational psychologists are often the stats people on dissertation committees.
If you're doing a lot of that, maybe you can be a co-chair.
And keep track of those informal consultations you do. That counts as service, too.
It's all valuable.
So, being a professor is amazing, but it's a lot to learn at first.
It is.
The guide reminds us that we belong here and we have so much to offer.
Don't forget that.
Enjoy the journey, listen to your mentors, follow your research passions, teach with enthusiasm, and be an active part of your communities.
Make a difference.
We're cheering for you. And as you start this new chapter, think about this. How are you going to shape your first year to set yourself up for success and fulfillment? Thanks for joining us on The Deep Dive.
See you next time.